Oh, Louise. It's Nikki from Nick Shorts. Hi. I want to talk about a few things, just some things that have been going down in the house. I want to cover everything. I want to talk about the final three, floaters, just a lot of stuff. And I want you to chime in the comments too, like you always do. Let go. So earlier, I got a call from Louise. You know Louise in the comic room, the one Cerie was really close to and her number one ally. So Louise calls and says, "You know what, look, my girl Felicia left. Cerie left and then Felicia left and I'm all alone and got this other three that never really come and see me or say anything or talk and I don't like them no way. Nick, and look, she's like, I need to talk to you because you've been watching since season one. I know you. I need you to get the word out. What's really going on?" And I said, "What's really going on, Louise?" I said, I said, "Tell me, Louise. Tell me, girl." And she told me. Boy, Louise know it all. Production really did a number yesterday. Really did a number. And I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. It's just the way it all went down. So, before I get into really doing a deep dive about the nosedive that happened yesterday, I want to ask you something. Did anyone else notice the weirdness? If yesterday wasn't as weird as it was already, but did anyone else notice the weirdness about when show eviction show started? Okay, so it's a Sunday night eviction. So they pop that in, and for the last, what is it, month, this whole Yellowstone thing comes on before the show, which is maddening because it all starts at 10 o'clock, and 10 o'clock is just way too late, especially for a show like yesterday, which people were wanting to see. And then with the time changing, that foolishness, it didn't start until 10, but it's really 11 o'clock. So who has time on a Sunday night to be acting like it's a Thursday night and the next day is Friday? I mean, this whole season, I'm telling you, has been bizarre. So I'm all ready to watch it. I'm like, okay, it's about to come on. Yellowstone is running late and it's still not on. And then I'm thinking, okay, what is happening here? But I noticed that some people were seeing it and I wasn't seeing it. So it was a big delay. Usually it's a delay of, I don't know what, 30 seconds to a minute. But no, I mean, we're talking like a 5 to 9 minute delay. I mean, like, what? Like, if the season, if the show couldn't get any weirder. So that was one thing. And then the other thing was this whole, am I going to send Matt home or am I going to send Felicia home? My question is, who's zooming who? Okay, who's zooming who? Is it production fooling us and thinking that we know what's going on, or is it production fooling the house guests and then the house guests are playing with our emotions? Because early in the morning, so what, with the time changing Saturday, the time changed back, right? Early in the morning, so we're saying what, I don't know, 3 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. Jag is talking to Bowie about what's really going to happen. And he's like, well, I'm really going to have to let Matt go. I'm going to have to do what I got to do and keep Felicia. And presumably Bowie is pretty much down with that plan. He goes on and on and on and on. I kid you not. I went to sleep and I think I woke up 2 hours later and still heard him saying, but then if I don't let him go, this will happen. And so I don't know if I was dreaming or if Jag says something about on Halloween, he took 2 pieces of candy from me. And so I'm gonna have to let him go because he took 2 pieces of candy. If he can take 5,000, then what's he gonna do with 750,000? He didn't say that. I was just dreaming. I don't think he said that. I think I was just dreaming. Ain't no way he said that. He took 2 pieces of candy from me, and I'm gonna have to evict him for that. And you can't make this up. So they had a luxury comp Halloween, or it was, I think it was before Halloween, and it consisted of them putting candy in the baskets and taking the candy out, and who had the most candy got the $5,000. So he's saying, well, if he did that, then he's gonna really kind of cut me or something for the 750,000. Well, yeah, that's the goal of it. So let's take a look back, though. My whole thing, though, is Matt is sitting prettier than Bowie or Jag. So if Matt gets to the final two with Jag, he's going to win. If he gets to the final two with Bowie, he's going to win. Invincibility power. And that's huge when in that power, because the house guest didn't decide the power, but his behavior in the house decided the power. I don't know. Jag said he needed to do what was good for his game. Where I think BB went wrong is them stepping in and influencing Jag. Production steps in too many times. And I think oftentimes when they step in, the outcome is what America doesn't want. I think production has many, many hands, not only in the show, in the script with the house guests, but they have many, many hands on social media before they even touch or talk to the house guests. So it's a 3-step process. They're talking to social media, they're getting what they need to get from social media, and then they're going back and observing the house guests and then talking to the house guests. So what happened yesterday was Jag was trying to make his decision, talking it over with Bowie. Bowie is clueless. I don't think no one's saying anything to Bowie. Bowie's clueless. So what's happening is Jag is talking it over with her, and then production's talking to Jag. Jag made his decision to cut Matt because that was a brain decision and not the heart decision, to cut Matt because it was better for his game. So then what happens in between him knowing that he's going to cut Matt, going into DR, talking to folk, and then coming back out saying that he's going to cut Felicia instead? I want to know what happened. I want to know what was said. We as viewers, as fans, it's time that we know what is said to these people. We know what is going on. If you're going to show us the feeds, if you're going to show us what happens with the interaction, if you're going to show us what happens also with the house guests communicating after they've been in DR with the house guests, then you're going to have to show us what was happening in the DR. Oh, girl, I had to get some mimosas for me and Louise. So in this next segment, I want to talk about pretty and privileged. Pretty equals privileged. A little backstory. I said to myself, this year I wasn't going to be vested. I wasn't going to get really into it like I did last year. Last year I was like gone girl. I mean, I was really into it. So this year I said, nah, you know what? I'm not going to be really vested. I said, there's a few people that I like, but I'm not going to be all in deep. So I wasn't really, you can probably tell by my videos this year and from last year, a whole lot of stuff. But I will say that early on, I think it was a mistake getting rid of Heisem. I know a lot of people are saying that. He made a comment, and I'm paraphrasing. A lot of stuff that I'm going to be talking about in this video is some stuff that I don't have footage for. But it was said that Matt and Riley were the pretty people. What he meant by that, I know exactly what he meant by that. I agree. And it's coming out now. You can tell by my videos I like Matt. But what he said early on was a warning. It was a warning about what exactly what we're seeing now. The way he went about it was wrong, not his intent, but the way he went about it was wrong, because the people that he told his impression of them to was the wrong people to tell to, because they were the people he was talking about. So he told the group that was aligned together, which was who, Blue, it was Jag, I guess. Those are privileged people. But then later on, once she got into the showmance with Jared, you know, her allegiance changed. So she wasn't too much aligned with them like she had been. Um, you know, because she was playing both fiddles like he was playing both fiddles, and she realized later. But what I'm trying to say though is he didn't mean pretty, whereas, you know, oh, they're Baywatch models or anything like that. What he meant was more so privileged. He meant that what you're seeing now, and this is what I have a big complaint about. This is what has really disappointed me about Matt, because I really like Matt, is that this whole teaming up with Bowie, who wasn't in a part of who Heisen was talking about in the beginning, but teaming up with Bowie, because Bowie wasn't privileged. She didn't grow up privileged. He's talking about these people that grew up privileged, and it's a perception, you know. I mean, he doesn't really know their life, I don't think, but he's talking Matt, Jag, Riley. I think he was maybe talking about Luke too, but just how they're privileged, and you know, they had what they wanted, and you know, didn't have to want for nothing. I think, like I said, what he didn't take account for was the whole age thing. So they banded together in age and banded together to put him out, because he was talking to them as, hey, I'm warning you, brown, you know, brown and red people, I'm warning you, Jag and Blue, you know, I'm warning you. And they were like, you funny looking weird person, you know. They weren't catching on because, like I said, they're privileged, so they weren't catching on to it. And it didn't help that, of course, Felicia was aligning, not aligning with them, but you know, banding with everyone to take him out. And I think that was a big mistake, because he would have been an ally for her and Cerie. Possibly Bowie would have been on that side. You know, she went where the power was. So um you're seeing it now though, with the people that are left with, you're seeing it now with Matt, and you're seeing it with Jag, and you're seeing it when they're aligning with Bowie. Not that Bowie has anything to do with it, she's just going with them. Matt's just going along with them. But Matt, when you're following along with people like that and not standing up, you're gonna fall for anything stupid. So he's falling for the stupid stuff, which is disappointing. It's also disappointing because Jag is what somehow affiliated with the Special Olympics, and he's doing bullying. The Special Olympics put out something on bullying for October, Bullying Awareness Month. So I think that needs to be brought up. But here he is, and Matt is saying, "Oh, got to get out these old ladies, got to get out, the mamas, got to get them out, and not compete well. We're gonna be the pressure cracker." um what he was saying and all like that, that's coming from the privilege. That's coming from the privilege. Statement that he made about what are they doing in there, packing for so long, they're probably stealing pillows. Privilege. Why would that even be said? We got Felicia, who is two-time retired and made it very known, at first, made that very known. Cerie, shoot, been on Survivor 1,000 times and won the Traders. Had money before that because of a successful career. Who's gonna steal the nasty ass Big Brother pillows? They don't be probably even be getting clean in them dirty washers. What? So statements like that really threw me for a loop. I mean, it didn't shock me. Again, it didn't shock me because once again, you know, what Heisem said, privilege. And I knew exactly what he was talking about. So while people were canceling him early on, to me, that was just um common sense. That was just a quick observation. I mean, he said what I quickly saw. Matt has a good heart, it seems. But like I said, if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. And, you're just as guilty. If you're in the store with someone and they're stealing, you're going to jail too. You're just as guilty as someone who's doing the bullying. So, yeah, or saying those things. So, and the bullying came in with, them being in power. We're going to keep her up. We're going to do this, make her not want to compete, make her tired. And, um, and then the other thing I wanted to bring up the day before, well, no, it was the same day that Matt was on the block, that they were sitting, in the eviction chairs. They were washing dishes and Matt was like talking to Jag and he said, yeah, we'll be good another week. They've served their time, paraphrasing that. Because I can't remember the exact words, but it's kind of like, we don't need anyone to cook for us. It's just going to be a week. It's just going to be a few days. We don't need anyone to do the dishes. It's just going to be a few days. So, trigger warning. I'm about to go in. That's slavery talk. And I'm sick of Big Brother dipping in slavery talk and behavior. The whole block thing, being on the block, that's a slavery reference. They put people on the block to be sold. The best cooks you would bid on, the best cleaners. Matt, Jag, maybe Bowie. I don't know if she was up there around that time or not. I think, who was it on the block? Felicia and Cerie talking about, you know, who we gonna let go? Well, we need someone to cook and clean. So should we let them go or should we let that person go or this person go? So it was that. Why is that even in the determination? Why is that, You cook for your damn self. You clean up for your damn self. Why is that? I mean, and so Big Brother, if you don't want it to be in the determination, get a cook and a cleaner so no one has to do that. So that won't even be a denominating factor. How about that? Just take the cooking and cleaning out of it, you know? Because I'm sick of hearing that. That's been going on actually since day one. And I'm tired of hearing about that. Oh, well, they cook and they clean. And that just goes back to slavery times. I'm sorry, but it does. The whole block thing, the whole block. Last year's reference was evident. Not a lot of people brought it up, but when they had the chain, that's a slavery reference. So, yeah, lose me with that. What that is semblance of, again, is privilege. You've got people that are writing, you've got people that are producing, directing, and they're obviously not catching on. I don't know if it's an age thing and they're too young to remember some of these references. I don't know if it's a thing where maybe you're not from this country and you're not knowing, educated about the references, but I'd be damn if you put two brown people on a chain and have them be walking chained together. Uh-uh. And I don't care if it's a movie reference, I don't care if it's from a book, I don't care if it's from a poem. It's a slavery reference. So, yeah, that was unacceptable too. Um and all that I'm mentioning is no worse than what Luke said, no worse than what Kyle said, you know. And then, hey, the way you're dealing with it, the way you dealt with Luke, okay, I get that. You let him go, but you could have let Kyle go. That that should have been dealt with better. A lot needs to be changed with Big Brother. I think that they're not only losing viewers, they're not maintaining viewers. Okay, segment 3. Louise, what you want to call this segment, girl? I think we're going to call it Floaters and House Guest Highlights. All right, girl. Oh, floaters. So in 1977, there was a group called the Floaters, and they had a song called Float On. And they would go through the zodiac signs.
Aquarius. And my name is Ray. Now I like a woman who loves her freedom.
Sagittarius. There were 2 Sagittarians in the house, Izzy and America. I guess we'll just start with America. She did some floating herself. Floated right up on Corey. Just and we'll get to that in the 4th segment, relationships. But to a certain extent, I think that America stirred up a lot of drama while floating. Um, I'll talk more about her, like I said, later. Corey, he floated, but he was a good observer. And I was going to do a video about Corey. And what a great game player he was, what a great strategist he was, and how he would just look and observe and talk to you and get to know you, and how he was really getting close with Sari and Mimi. But he tanked his game with the showmance, the forced showmance. He should have kept his wits about him. He messed up. He he knew he shouldn't have been getting into any showmance. He didn't even want a showmance. I mean, sure, he thought people in the house were attractive, but he was really focused early on. I really admired Corey early on, but he lost my respect after the showmance. Let's talk about Bowie, the biggest floater of them all, who wanted to throw comps but ended up winning because she guessed wrong or right or wrong or right or um Bowie Jane. Fucking Bowie Jane. Casting needs to do better before they put people in that really don't know what's going on. It doesn't seem like Bowie really woke up until day 52, maybe, when she started following people around. So, and then it was like, that tug of war, alliance tug of war between her and, the Cam and Red side. And then, and then here she is. She may win the whole thing. She may win the whole thing. I mean, she floated through, and it's one thing about floating, it's another thing about actually strategically laying low. Like, I think Mimi strategically laid low. I don't think she was floating. She was networking. She was talking with people. She was, in alliances. She was listening, observing. You can say she was floating, but I mean, she was putting some work behind it. Whereas Bowie really wasn't playing the game. Matt, to a certain extent, floated through, but he floated through alliances, like really getting close to Cerie after what Jared left, after Izzy left. And so his mistake was cutting Cerie. Honestly, I wanted them to go to the final two. I like Matt. I'm disappointed with him now, but I liked him and I wanted him to go to the final two with Cerie. I thought that was going to happen, but it didn't. Izzy, so kind of to contrast, Izzy, in contrast with the floater, she was not a floater at all. Izzy was. So if you look up glue in the dictionary, Izzy is the glue. She was the glue that held everybody together. The bone runner. She ran that bone back and forth. Bowie did too, but it seems, I don't know, it seemed like Bowie didn't have a purpose. She was just out there swinging from power to power. And Izzy was the one that really had the purpose and the wherewithal to, say, I'm going to stick with, Cerie and Jarrett like glue, and so she was the one that really held that alliance together. A highlight about Izzy to me was the house guest that at first I was wrong about. So every year there's someone that I don't really like, and then they grow on me, and then I love them. And so Izzy was that one. Last year it was Joseph. This year it's Izzy. Izzy, I did not like the fact that she cornered Jared. That just really, really rubbed me the wrong way. Jared and Sarit, I think that Jared and Cerie's game was altered that first day. So whatever they had planned, blueprint that they mapped out, and all that was tanked the minute that Izzy approached them. They just had to kind of bob and weave in another direction. It's kind of like, you go on Google Maps and got your directions all laid out. I'm going to take I-9 and then I'm going to get off on this exit and then I'm going to take this street. Shoot, they walked in and no later than what, the 20 minutes, they were like, construction, roadblock, Izzy. So, I mean, they had to really map out another way to play this game and quick. What I will say though is that I think Izzy was helpful to them as far as being that person who was, going back and forth and, keeping that alliance together and reporting back and forth and, just pretty much keeping things down pat. So Jared, I think, kind of interfered with what they had going on with, their alliance. So, of course, Izzy and Jared butt heads too. Blue kind of floated a little bit. She kind of went back and forth, between the Jag and Corey and America and Matt. And there really wasn't anything she could do because she really wasn't seeing the clues at the end. So basically, I think that's about it. Can't say too much about the ones that left too early. Heisem, I think he really played aggressive and kind of rubbed people the wrong way at first, but I think if he had stayed, it would have been, like I said, beneficial more so for the Cerise, Felicia's, and where they were lacking in comps, he could have won those comps and got them to the finish line. Okay, Louise, it's time for segment 4. Pour the red wine, darling. Let's talk relationships in the house. Who was set for a showmance? Who was a surprise showmance? And who just missed the chance to have a showmance? let's let's look back. Let's start with Blue. I think it was strange that early on when they did first impressions, they had her saying that she wanted to be in a love triangle. Who does that? Why Blue? Why that? Why a love triangle? I just kind of thought that was odd. And in getting to know Blue from what I saw of her, it didn't seem like that was her nature to, and of course I'm not on these people's social media, I don't know, but it didn't seem like that would was her nature. Even without her being in a showmance with Jared, I couldn't see her in a love triangle. So I just thought that whole thing was just really odd. It just kind of fit into the whole oddity of the season. Who would she have been in a love triangle with? I don't know. I mean, I don't think Blue was set to be with Jared. And I'll tell you why. Because him coming out of a relationship, I don't think he was destined or gave them any reason that he would have wanted a relationship in the house, especially with his mother being in the house. Um, and if he was going to be in a relationship, I don't think it would have been with Blue. I think it would have been either with production perception, is what I'm saying here. I think it would have been with either like a Riley or a per production now would have thought he would have gotten with. Production didn't see Blue and Jared coming. I can tell you that right now. Production didn't see Blue and Jared coming. They got blindsided with that one. I really do think that. America was set to be with Matt. Hear me again. America was set to be with Matt. And America, looking at America and Matt, more so looking at Matt, Matt reminds me of the little boy in Blue Lagoon all grown up. And with the dark hair, America sort of kind of reminds me of Brooke Shields, um, a young Brooke Shields. But I think that's what they wanted. Of course, he took to Riley. I think Riley had her eye on possibly Jared, and I think she had her eye on um, Jag. Jag did like Riley. Jag, I think, like Riley, there was times when they were, it looked like getting close. Um, so what happened? And this is all, I think production was really blindsided by this. It's funny because, and I don't know if this really happens every year or they set out, like I said, for these things and they go different ways. But I really think that America was jealous that she couldn't have Matt because Matt had his eyes on someone else, which Riley didn't like him. Okay, so follow me. He had his eyes on Riley. America had her eyes on Matt. She was jealous because his eyes weren't on her, but they were on Riley. So, girl code, she couldn't take quote unquote Riley's perceived man. Follow me now. So, she goes and pouts and gets jealous or whatever, which, she didn't vocalize. I don't know if anyone else observed it, but she is jealous by that, and then she goes and who else was available? She for darn sure wasn't gonna go for Jarrett. Cameron really wasn't giving her no good attention early on. I mean, I don't really think I really wasn't into live feeds much this year, but I don't think he was flirting with her all that much in the beginning. Um, Cameron, I don't think she wanted to play that fiddle. So who does she go? Who does she feel? Now wait a minute though, but before we get into that, let's backtrack a little bit. Ain't nobody thought Luke is gonna open his mouth and say some dumb shit, right? So that removes an eligible bachelor. Who else is it for America to showmance with but Corey? Corey being the person who he is, survivor addict. I'm in this Big Brother game. I know so much as a super fan, wanting to just really, really get over on people and manipulate and scan and observe people the best I can. And really get into people's minds and be silent when I gotta be silent and talk when I gotta talk and debate and all this stuff. And Corey said, I ain't got time for nobody showmance. What? I'm not trying to kiss nobody. I mean, she pretty and all, but girl, go on. And that's exactly what Corey said. So I did a video about no tea, and no tea means America. You can't make somebody like be what intimate with you, especially on live TV. Like I said, the Jared Blue romance showmance, that was a true showmance. I think that evolved naturally. And like I said, I don't think that was expected. So that's my thoughts on the relationships. I always have thoughts on showmances and, who gets with who and when they get with them and why they get with them and all like that. So I think that's what occurred. And I think a lot of it was unexpected. But hey, is with the relationships, I think production expects the unexpected. Ooh, girl, 100 days in the house. How'd you do it, Louise? I know you gotta be tired. I know you're looking forward to Thursday, child. Ooh wee. This concludes a look back on season 25. See you finale night. Goodbye and good riddance to 25. May the best house guest win. Bye.